And what we eat is really our chemotherapy 3 times a day.
Meet Dr. William Li, a world-renowned Harvard-trained medical doctor, researcher, president, and founder of the Angiogenesis Foundation. His work has led to more than 40 FDA-approved therapeutics and devices for cancer, cardiovascular disease, wound healing, and vision loss. He is also a New York Times best-selling author with Eat to Beat Disease: The New Science of How Your Body Can Heal Itself. He also published another book, Eat to Beat Diet: Burn Fat, Heal Your Metabolism, and Live Longer. Are you craving something sweet but want to stay healthy at the same time? What if your favorite foods could actually help fight cancer and flush toxins out of your system? In this video, we'll reveal 5 delicious, selenium-rich foods packed with cancer-killing and detoxing superpowers. These powerhouse eats not only taste amazing, but also turbocharge your body's defenses. Make sure to stick around until the end, where we reveal how to whip up all the tasty, budget-friendly recipes featuring these selenium stars. Let's dive in. Your body's going to thank you for this one. Disclaimer: Brazil nuts.
Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, pecans, macadamias, cashews. I love them all, okay? For me, they're kind of like snack foods, but they contain healthy fats as well as dietary fiber. And both dietary fiber and healthy fats, you know what? Good for gut health, feeds your gut microbiome, helps to lower harmful LDL blood cholesterol. Again, that's the kind that clogs the arteries. You see, the theme is pretty easy to think about here. And, you know, nuts you can eat super simple. Like I told you, I don't like to be too fussy with my food. I learned that, by the way, when I did a gap year. I spent some time in the Mediterranean, and I watched how people cooked, and I learned how to cook there as well. You just take, it's just plain tree nuts and put them in a cast iron or a stainless steel pan, put them on the stove, and you got to watch it, heat it up and shake it around and just toast them up a little bit. All right. Or put them on a cookie sheet and don't really bake them, but heat them up until they basically get lightly toasted. Toaster oven can do the same thing. Now you've got kind of like a crispiness to it, all right? And it's a little bit cooked on the outside. If you're going to buy nuts, buy them plain, you know, like in the bulk section, and then you roast them at home. And I think roasting, again, brings out a little more flavor. You can eat them as a snack, all right? And then you can season with whatever you want. If you want to make it savory, add some spices and herbs or chili or whatever you want to do to make them. Don't buy the pre-bagged, pre-seasoned kind that, you know, like the barbecue. It's got this crazy nuclear color to it. If you're going to buy that kind of stuff, please look at the ingredient label and see what's in there. When you see those additives or those artificial coloring or flavoring or preservatives, probably something you want to do. I just buy bulk nuts. I toast them myself. All right. And then if I want to make my own trail mix, I'll tell you what I do. I would add dried cranberries to it or dried blueberries with my favorite tree nuts or even a mix of nuts. And then if you really want to actually, so this dried fruits actually contain fruit skin that's dried on them and shrunk down. They contain the polyphenols from the dried fruits, right? Remember I told you blueberries good for the immune system. Cranberries good for bladder health as well, all right? So, and then you want to sort of do something else heart healthy. Dark chocolate is heart healthy, okay? And if you want to cut up some small bits of dark chocolate, put them into that nut and dried fruit mix, you got yourself a homemade super healthy trail mix. That's what you should bring to work to snack on. Don't buy that pre-made stuff, all right? Oh, by the way, you can take some of these toasted tree nuts and just crush them up and sprinkle them on to some whole yogurt or oatmeal, like I told you, for that little extra crunchy texture, all right? Now, here is something else that you want to really know is when you're buying nuts, don't buy too much at a time. It's tempting when you go to the bulk section to buy like a big, gigantic canister. Remember, nuts have natural oils in them. Those oils will eventually make them go bad. So don't buy more than you can eat in a week or two at a time. Then go back and buy more later on so you don't actually create this huge canister that there's no way you're going to polish off within a couple of weeks.
Dr. Li recommends Brazil nuts because they're a selenium goldmine that can starve cancer and detox your system like nobody's business. Picture this. Just one nut delivers over 100% of your daily selenium needs. About 68 to 91 micrograms, when the recommended intake tops out at 55 for adults. Talk about a tiny titan packing a colossal punch. Selenium's a powerhouse mineral that supercharges your body's antioxidant defenses, cranking up enzymes like glutathione peroxidase to shield your cells from oxidative stress, the kind of damage that flips healthy cells into cancer culprits. According to a study published in PLOS One, researchers looked at how Brazil nuts could help reduce breast cancer growth in mice. In this study, scientists gave some mice regular food with just enough selenium, while others got extra selenium from either Brazil nuts or a special form called selenomethionine. They found that the mice that ate the Brazil nuts and the selenomethionine had smaller tumors than those that had only the regular food. This means that eating Brazil nuts or selenomethionine might help fight cancer, at least in mice. On the detox front, selenium turbocharges your liver, binding to heavy metals like lead, mercury, and cadmium, nasty stuff from pollution or old pipes, and flushing them out through bile or urine. Think of it as a deep, clean crew scrubbing your insides spotless. These nuts aren't just science-approved. They're creamy, buttery, and downright crave-worthy. Pop them solo for a quick fix, toss them into a salad for crunch, grind them into a homemade nut butter, or even shave them over oatmeal like a fancy garnish. Your taste buds won't know they're fighting cancer too. But wait, there's more. These little gems do double duty beyond cancer and detox. Selenium supports your thyroid, keeping your metabolism humming, and boosts immunity by powering up white blood cells to zap invaders. Say goodbye to sluggish days. Worried about overdoing it? Stick to 1 to 2 nuts a day, about 5 grams each, since too much selenium, over 400 micrograms daily, can lead to brittle nails or a metallic taste, but in moderation, they're pure magic. Not a nut fan? Their smooth, mild flavor blends into anything, so you've got no excuse. Here's a budget-friendly Brazil nut recipe to kick things off. Grab a handful of store-brand Brazil nuts. Bulk bins are your wallet's best friend, often half the price of pre-packed. A ripe banana, grab overripe ones for pennies, a splash of oat milk, generics under $2 a carton, a tablespoon of cocoa powder for a chocolatey kick, store brands cheap and flavanol-rich, and a drizzle of honey or agave if you're fancy. Blend it all until velvety smooth, pour into a glass, and sip a selenium-packed smoothie that's rich, satisfying, and beats a coffee shop latte at a fraction of the cost. Think under $1 a serving. Bonus tip: freeze it into popsicles. Add a sprinkle of crushed nuts on top before freezing for a cool, cancer-fighting treat that'll have you licking your lips all summer. Want another way to sneak these into your day? Here's a second budget-friendly recipe. Toast 5 to 6 Brazil nuts in a dry pan for 3 minutes until fragrant. No oil, no fuss. Then pulse them in a blender with a cup of cooked quinoa. Leftover works great. A teaspoon of cinnamon and a tablespoon of maple syrup or whatever sweeteners in your pantry. Scoop into small balls. Roll in a dusting of cocoa or shredded coconut if you've got it. Skip to save cash. And chill for 20 minutes. These no-bake Brazil nut quinoa bites are sweet, chewy, and loaded with selenium. Perfect for a grab-and-go snack that starves cancer and detoxes on the sly. Pro hack: stash them in the fridge for up to a week. They get tastier as the flavors meld. Whether you're a health nut or just nut curious, Brazil nuts are your ticket to a tastier, tougher body. One bite at a time. Shiitake mushrooms.
Mushrooms are great for burning down harmful body fat. Now, how does that happen? How does a lowly white button mushroom do this? Well, it turns out that mushrooms are kind of soft, but they're pretty powerful. They contain a natural substance called beta-D-glucan, G-L-U-C-A-N. Beta-D-glucan, it's a soluble fiber. And you know what that soluble fiber does? It actually gets down and feeds your gut bacteria. Beta-glucan also turns on your brown fat to help burn down harmful white visceral fat. And beta-glucan also lowers inflammation. So again, mushrooms have these multi-pronged effects to help you burn down body fat. And let's talk about mushrooms for a second, because I love mushrooms. I like to cook. I love eating mushrooms. The beta-glucan is found in fancy mushrooms like porcini, all right, but morels. But beta-glucan is even found in that lowly white button mushroom, all right? So if you go to the grocery store and you buy white button mushrooms, they're very inexpensive. What do we normally do, right? We take them home, maybe wash them off a little bit. Sometimes there's a little bit dirt on them. I highly recommend that. And then we cut off the stem, and I used to throw away the stem and just eat the cap, cook with the cap. But I'm telling you, the beta-glucan is in the cap of the mushroom. All right, so you've got good stuff in the cap, but the stem has twice as much of the beta-D-glucan. All right, so eat the stem as well as the cap. If you're not sure what to do with the stem, you can saute them, or you can make them into a soup. Just put them into a blender. You can actually even put it into a smoothie, kind of as part of, it'll give it a little bit of earthy flavor to it. But I will tell you that, or put it into a soup. But beta-glucan in the mushrooms. So white button mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, maitake mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, portobello, all crimini, all great culinary mushrooms. Now, how come I haven't mentioned the other types of mushrooms like lion's mane, reishi, etc., cordyceps? Because those are medicinal mushrooms, and I'm talking about foods that fight body fat through culinary mushrooms. You should use to fight fat. You should actually eat the culinary mushrooms. Another pro tip that you might not know about is that mushrooms are a source of vitamin D. Vitamin D is really important for immune health and bone health, a lot of other healthy parts. And most people around the world, especially in the Western world, don't get enough vitamin D. So we take vitamin D supplements. But I can tell you that mushrooms are one of the few foods that actually are a source of vitamin D. All right. So, the human skin can make vitamin D, but we got to go outside in the sunshine. All right. Same deal with mushrooms. If you want to have your mushroom, which is a source of vitamin D, make more vitamin D, you know what you do? Take that white button mushroom, slice it longitudinally, lengthwise, all right? And put all those flat pieces on a plate and stick it in your kitchen in front of the window with the sun coming in. And when mushrooms get a suntan through the window, guess what? They make more vitamin D, just like human skin. So a little pro tip, if you want your mushrooms to do a little bit more work for you, in addition to burning down harmful body fat and fueling your gut health and lowering inflammation, you want your mushrooms to actually give you a source of vitamin D. Slice them open and give them some sunshine as a way to actually do that as well. By the way, another comment about mushrooms, I recommend you to cook mushrooms if you're actually going to eat them rather than eat them raw. And never, ever go out and forage your own mushrooms. Unless you're already an expert forager, don't let the experts do it, because there's a lot of mushrooms out there that are actually poisonous. They'll kill you. So don't do it. Go to the market, go to the store, rely on the mushroom forager to get you the stuff that's the good stuff that's actually good for you.
Dr. Lee loves shiitake mushrooms because they're selenium-rich rock stars that starve cancer and scrub your body clean. These meaty, umami-packed beauties aren't just a flavor bomb. They bring a hefty dose of selenium, about 24 micrograms per 100 grams dried, alongside a superstar compound called lentinin that cuts off cancer's blood supply. Think of it as yanking the power cord on tumor growth. According to a review in Advances in Nutrition, a study looked at how eating mushrooms, especially shiitake mushrooms, may help lower the risk of getting cancer. The researchers reviewed many studies from different sources to find out if there was a link between how much mushrooms people eat and cancer rates. They discovered that people who ate more mushrooms had a 45% lower chance of developing cancer compared to those who didn't eat mushrooms at all. This was particularly true for breast cancer. For detox, shiitakes neutralize free radicals, those pesky, unstable molecules from pollution or stress that age you fast and mess with your DNA, keeping your system sparkling like a freshly scrubbed floor. Back in ancient Japan, they were prized as a longevity elixir. Samurai and healers swore by them, and modern science is totally on board. Their woodsy, earthy flavor makes them a dream in soups, stir-fries, or even grilled as a juicy steak substitute, versatile enough to win over any picky eater. Not a mushroom fan yet? Start small with a few slices. They grow on you faster than you'd think, and your body will thank you. But there's more to these fungal champs. They're loaded with beta-glucans, fiber-like compounds that rev up your immune system, helping white blood cells hunt down invaders. And they've got ergothioneine, an antioxidant that protects your mitochondria, your cell's power plants, from wear and tear. Worried about prep time? Dried shiitakes are shelf-stable for months and pack more flavor punch than fresh. Just soak and go. Here's a budget-friendly shiitake recipe to dive in. Snag a bag of dried shiitakes, way cheaper than fresh. Check the international aisle for deals under $3. Soak a handful, about 10 to 12 caps, in warm water for 20 minutes until plump. Then saute them in a pan with a clove of garlic, penny pincher's fave, a splash of soy sauce, grab the low-sodium bottle for $1, and a cup of pantry rice, brown or white, whatever's on hand. Toss in a half cup of frozen peas or carrots for color, fiber, and extra nutrients, and boom. You've got a detoxing rice bowl that's hearty, savory, and rings in under $5 for 2 servings. Pro tip: save that soaking water. It's a free, selenium-laced broth you can sip solo or pour back into the dish for a cancer-fighting flavor boost. Ready for another tasty trick? Here's a second budget-friendly shiitake recipe. Soak 8 to 10 dried shiitakes in hot water for 20 minutes, then chop them fine and toss them into a pot with a can of drained chickpeas, store brands under $1, a teaspoon of cumin, a splash of olive oil, or skip it to save, and a pinch of salt. Simmer for 10 minutes, mash half the mix with a fork for creaminess, and serve as a warm dip with tortilla chips or spread on toast. This shiitake chickpea mash is earthy, protein-packed, and brimming with selenium. Perfect for a snack or light meal that starves cancer and detoxes on the cheap. Bonus hack: sprinkle with a dash of chili flakes if you've got 'em. It's a flavor kick that fires up your metabolism too. Whether you're a mushroom newbie or a fungi fanatic, shiitakes are your secret weapon for a healthier, tastier life, one bite at a time. Sunflower seeds.
Well, one of the things that I love about sunflower seeds is they taste really good. They're nutty. They have this kind of really delicate kind of flavor. And they're not very crunchy. They're kind of soft. And they're very commonly eaten in the Mediterranean, lightly roasted. And so it's a great treat. It's a good source of dietary fiber, and there's also a bioactive in it called SDG. I'm not going to even bother going into the chemical name, pronounce what the S and the D and the G stands for, but I can tell you that actually it protects your stem cells. And yes, sunflower seeds do belong to the grand slammers, but I will also tell you that the fact that there's dietary fiber to feed your gut microbiome, which helps your metabolism, helps you heal better, makes you feel better, and actually activates your brain and improves your mood. Sunflower seeds are a great way of snacking. And the protection against for your stem cells also means that it helps your body renew itself from the inside out. Now, sunflower seeds are something I like to keep around, like just a little bowlful, like if I'm for a snack. That's the other thing I like about it. You don't have to eat up like a couple of fistfuls of the stuff for it to be good for you. You can just kind of chew on them a little bit by bit, and you feel totally satisfied. And it's a great source of fiber and other bioactives.
Does it matter if we eat them raw or not, or roasted? Should we be worried about how much sodium might come if they are roasted? Just any kind of considerations. And I guess people could think about this when they're thinking about all sort of seeds and nuts that they want to include in their diet. So we'd love to hear your take on it.
Such an important thing. So, like what I do is I like to buy just a bag of sunflower seeds or cashews or walnuts that isn't actually pre-seasoned. I like to do it myself, honestly, or sometimes like sunflower seeds, I don't mind them if they're not seasoned at all. I kind of like the fact that they're actually even a little sweet, and they're not cloyingly sweet, but they're definitely not salty. You can salt them if you want, but be very careful about commercial brand seasoned nuts and seeds, because oftentimes they are loaded with salt. Also, sometimes they're loaded with unhealthy oils, because to roast them, they'll coat them with really unhealthy saturated fats, and then they roast them and they'll dump salt on them, and they'll shake all the salt off, and that'll be a pretty tasty bag. That I guarantee you. Like, it'll be kind of addictive to go through them, but man, your sodium will go through the roof. And then if you get the barbecued flavors and then the pizza flavored and all those other kinds of things that might sound attractive on the label, just remember, mostly those are seasonings, that some of which are synthetic and are engineered to taste like something with artificial, something synthetic. Like, that's not what you want. And so I like to go for the elemental, natural flavors. if I'm going to season it, like cashews, I might season myself a little bit. Walnuts, I don't need seasoning. Pecans or almonds, I don't really need seasoning. But if you're going to use seasoning, just take a little pinch of sea salt, okay? And you can just sprinkle it on it, mix it around. You'll get a little bit of salt, but you do not want to actually, this is not shaker style. You definitely don't want to do that.
Dr. Lee recommends sunflower seeds because they're selenium-packed nibbles that starve cancer and flush toxins out fast. These little crunch bombs deliver around 19 micrograms of selenium per quarter cup, over a third of your daily 55 microgram goal, teaming up with vitamin E to starve cancer cells. According to a review in the Iraqi Journal of Science, a study looked at how sunflower seeds and their oil can help fight cancer. The researchers tested different amounts of sunflower seed oil on 2 types of cancer cells, named RD and L20B. They found that the oil worked much better on RD cells, which means it helped stop those cancer cells. The more oil they used, the better it worked. For example, at a high amount of 166.4 micrograms, the oil blocked about 78% of RD cell growth after 72 hours. They're also detox dynamos, binding to heavy metals like arsenic, cadmium, and mercury in your blood, stuff you pick up from air or water, and kicking them to the curb via your kidneys or liver. Imagine them as tiny janitors sweeping your system clean with every nutty bite. A handful's got that satisfying snap that's perfect sprinkled on yogurt for breakfast, blended into a garlicky pesto for dinner, tossed into a trail mix, or munched straight from the bag. Talk about snack goals that double as health hacks. Not sold on the texture? Roast them up. They turn golden and irresistible. But these seeds aren't just a one-trick pony. They're loaded with extras to keep you thriving. That vitamin E, about 10 milligrams per ounce, shields your skin from UV damage. Hello, natural glow. While magnesium, around 90 milligrams per quarter cup, calms your nerves and eases muscle cramps, making them a stress-busting, cancer-fighting double whammy. Bonus, they've got phytosterols that trim bad cholesterol, keeping your heart in the game. Worried about cost or prep? Bulk bins are dirt cheap, often $1 a pound, and they're ready to eat, no cooking required. Here's a budget-friendly sunflower seed recipe to dive in. Mix a half cup of bulk bin sunflower seeds, super affordable. Grab unsalted to save even more, with a cup of rolled oats, pantry staple. 2 tablespoons of honey, store brands under $3, a dash of cinnamon for warmth, and a tablespoon of melted coconut oil if you've got it. Skip it or swap with a splash of water to cut costs. Roll into bite-sized balls, about a dozen, chill for 30 minutes, and enjoy a sweet, chewy treat that's detox ready and clocks in at pennies per pop. Pro tip: stash them in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. They're grab-and-go gold. Craving variety? Here's a second budget-friendly sunflower seed recipe. Toast a half cup of sunflower seeds in a dry skillet over medium heat for 4 to 5 minutes until golden. No oil, no fuss. Then blend with a can of drained black beans, under $1, a clove of garlic, a squeeze of lemon juice, bottled's fine, and a pinch of cumin or chili powder if you've got it. Pulse until chunky smooth. Then scoop into a bowl for a smoky dip. Pair with carrot sticks or tortilla chips, or spread on whole grain toast for a hearty snack. This sunflower black bean mash is nutty, protein-packed, and brimming with selenium, starving cancer and detoxing your system for less than $2 total. Bonus hack: sprinkle extra toasted seeds on top for crunch that'll have you hooked. Whether you're snacking solo or feeding a crowd, sunflower seeds are your tasty, tough little allies, one handful at a time. Sardines.
Now, I wrote about seafoods in my book, Eat to Beat Your Diets. And so we're going to actually talk about what are some of the nuggets of information that I got from the research for that book. First, why is seafood healthy? Well, it turns out that many kinds of seafood have healthy marine omega-3 fatty acids. These are healthy fats that are found in fish and other types of seafood, as I'm about to show you. And this is the reason why it's good for you. Now, what does omega-3 do? Omega-3s are Mother Nature's natural anti-inflammatory substances. They also help to maintain healthy circulation. They assist the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelial cells, to be as healthy as possible so your blood can flow smoothly. They protect the stem cells that are in your body, We all have stem cells that are naturally found in our body, and these stem cells are important for tissue repair, regeneration, so we heal ourselves from the inside out. Omega-3s protect those cells to keep them as viable and vital as possible for regenerative healing. Omega-3 is also good for gut microbiome. They happen to be very good for gut health, keeping your healthy gut bacteria very happy. And that means it's good for your metabolism as well. The other thing that omega-3s do is help your immune system. So if you tally that list up of all the things that omega-3s do, that tells you why you want to actually eat seafood. Now, what are the best sources of marine omega-3 fatty acids? Well, you've probably heard about it, like tuna and salmon and oily fish. And it's true that marine fish are the best sources of omega-3s. Now, if you're a vegan, you can actually get it from plant-based sources as well, like chia seeds, but that's actually not directly omega-3s. That's from a precursor that your body has to metabolize, and you get a lot more omega-3s if you actually eat seafood, okay? Now, you've probably heard people say, eat lower on the food chain because the bigger fish have more likely to have heavy metals like mercury in them. And that's true. That's why you got to be careful about eating swordfish and tuna and some of these larger fish. But then people say, oh, eat really low in the food chain like anchovies and sardines and mackerels. Now, I actually happen to like sardines and mackerel, all right? But not everybody does. And here's the thing. Sardines and mackerel are not the only ways that you can get healthy omega-3s in seafood.
Dr. Lee champions sardines because they're selenium superheroes that starve cancer and detox your cells with gusto. These bold little fish pack a whopping 45 micrograms of selenium per 3-ounce can, over 80% of your daily 55 microgram goal, pairing it with omega-3 fatty acids to starve off cancer's lifeline like a ninja cutting supply lines. According to a review in Nutrients, a study looked at the link between eating canned fish, like sardines, and the risk of colorectal cancer. Researchers studied 2 large groups of people in Italy, one with cancer and one without. They found that people who ate canned fish had a lower chance of getting colorectal cancer. Specifically, those who ate 1 to 2 servings of canned fish each week reduced their risk by 19%, and those who ate 2 or more servings reduced their risk by 34%. This means that enjoying canned fish like sardines can help keep you healthier and reduce the risk of some cancers. On the detox front, they're a powerhouse. Selenium binds to toxins like mercury and arsenic. Ironic, since fish can carry traces, shuttling them out via your liver, while omega-3s scrub your arteries of junk like cholesterol and oxidative gunk. Think of it as a full-body tune-up. They're salty, rich, and insanely affordable. Canned sardines are a pantry MVP at under $2 a pop, smoking pricey salmon or tuna any day. Not sold on the fishy vibe? Their flavor mellows when mashed or mixed. Trust me, one bite and you'll be hooked. But sardines don't stop there. They're a nutrient jackpot. That selenium revs your thyroid, keeping your metabolism humming and energy soaring, while omega-3s, about 1.5 grams per can, shield your brain from fog and your heart from trouble. Studies link them to a 20% drop in heart disease risk. Plus, they've got vitamin D, up to 200 IU per serving, to strengthen bones and boost mood. Perfect for chasing away winter blues. Worried about the smell or bones? Canned ones are soft-boned, totally edible, and less pungent than you'd think. Open a window and dig in. Here's a budget-friendly sardine recipe to dive into. Grab a can of sardines, store brands under $2. Check the water-packed kind to save on oil calories. Mash with a teaspoon of mustard, generics a quarter a jar, a squeeze of lemon juice, bottleds 99 cents, a pinch of pepper and a chopped pickle or capers if you've got 'em. Skip to keep it cheap. Spread on whole grain crackers, stuff into a pita with lettuce, or scoop onto cucumber slices for a zesty, protein-packed snack that's detoxing and delicious, about 50 cents a serving. Extra hack, mix leftovers with cooked pasta, a drizzle of olive oil, and a sprinkle of chili flakes for a quick meal that fights cancer on a budget. Ready in 10 minutes flat. Craving more sardine swagger? Here's a second budget-friendly recipe. Drain a can of sardines and flake them into a bowl with a half cup of cooked quinoa. Leftovers perfect. A tablespoon of plain yogurt or a splash of vinegar for tang, a diced green onion or whatever veggie scraps in your fridge, and a dash of smoked paprika if you've got it. Plain salt works too. Stir it up, form into small patties, makes about 4, and pan fry in a teaspoon of oil, or dry fry to save fat, for 3 minutes per side until golden. These sardine quinoa cakes are crispy, savory, and selenium stacked, ideal for a light lunch or dinner that starves cancer and detoxes for under $3 total. Pro tip: serve with a dollop of mustard or a lemon wedge to crank up the flavor without cranking up the cost. Whether you're a seafood skeptic or a fish fiend, sardines are your wallet-friendly ticket to a tougher, tastier you, one can at a time. Garlic.
Garlic, all right? Garlic is like a central element for cooking, all right? If you watch cooking videos, most people are out there cooking garlic. It is a core ingredient for Mediterranean recipes and Asian recipes. Two of the healthiest cuisines in the world often use garlic. Now, why is garlic so good? Besides making other foods taste good, like it flavors the food, garlic helps to activate an enzyme in the body called nitric oxide synthase. It activates this enzyme. It triggers it so it's working better. Nitric oxide synthase. And synthase, it's actually synthesizing nitric oxide. So yeah, garlic triggers your body to make more nitric oxide from amino acids. Now your body's packed with amino acids, but every time you eat protein, whether it's from a plant or from an animal, it reloads your body with more amino acids. And guess what? When you eat garlic, that triggers your nitric oxide synthase. This enzyme takes those amino acids and it makes more nitric oxide. Now here's something interesting. Turns out that aged garlic does this better than fresh raw garlic. Now most of the time when I'm cooking, I'm just using some cloves of regular fresh garlic. You know, you get a big bunch of garlic cloves held together. That's what I normally use. But there is something called aged garlic, and you need to know about this because the next time you're in a grocery store, go ask somebody where do they actually sell aged garlic. Sometimes it's called black garlic, and the reason it's called black garlic is that it's garlic that's naturally aged for weeks under low heat, high humidity, and those conditions will actually turn the color of the garlic black, right? The outside of it is kind of whitish, but the meat of the garlic, which is usually tan or yellowish, that'll turn black. And this natural kind of fermentation of garlic makes the garlic sweet instead of pungent, all right? Regular raw garlic, very pungent, delicious to cook with, and not really sweet. Aging garlic or turning garlic black will make it sweet. And guess what? Black garlic is amazing for flavoring soups and stews and for cooking. So if you've never tried to cook with black garlic and you want to get the benefits of actually creating nitric oxide in your body, try getting some black garlic. I don't recommend making it yourself. It's a lot of trouble to make, but have it pre-made. Okay, I mean, it comes. Somebody else has actually done the low heat aging of it, and it'll make your food taste sophisticated and it gives it a nice, rich flavor. Now, you could, of course, buy black garlic supplements, all right? You can find that online, but I suggest you get the food version because it is delicious, all right? You can take almost any dish that you're going to cook, any savory dish in your kitchen, all right? Any recipe, whether it's vegetables, chicken, soups, stews, whatever it is, you can make it taste even better with a little bit of black garlic, all right? Now, this aged garlic, as I said, increases nitric oxide in your blood, all right, NO. And when the nitric oxide does what? It causes your blood vessels to dilate. It lowers your blood pressure, all right, which is really beneficial for heart health. And aged garlic also can lower your blood cholesterol, okay? Your bad LDL cholesterol, all right? That's the kind that sticks to the walls of your arteries to narrow your arteries. Guess what? Black garlic can actually help to lower that. And there's even one more benefit of garlic. Both fresh and aged, contains a bioactive called allicin, A-L-L-I-C-I-N. And guess what? Allicin boosts your immune system and helps your body defend against viruses and bacteria as well. All right. So garlic, great for nitric oxide, which then kills viruses. Garlic also has allicin, which boosts your immune system, which then is helpful for protecting you against infection. Now, the best way to get allicin out of garlic, fresh garlic cloves, you know what? Because it's actually locked into the clove, chop it up, okay? Or crush the garlic. hey, this is what the recipes call for. And this is exactly how it's used in Mediterranean and Asian cooking. You got to chop up the garlic before you cook with it. And that actually gets that allicin out, that natural bioactive that can actually help to boost your immune system and to kill viruses. Now, here's a little practical tip. If you're cooking with garlic, you got to peel that white skin, the papery skin off of each clove. Can be a little annoying, right? Like you got to take a sharp knife, you got to cut off the top and then cut along the side and peel it off with your hand. How can you do it quickly? I'll tell you, I'll give you a little trick. This is like a chef's trick. You got a cutting board, put the whole clove or a bunch of cloves on a cutting board and take the flat blade of a knife, smash it right down, okay? Hit it with your palm, smack it down. You're going to crush the garlic. The whole clove will smash open and the skin will split and it'll basically come right off. And now you can just pull the skin off and you got the whole pieces of garlic right there. Super easy. No kind of doing microsurgery on the garlic. And then with those crushed mashed bits, just chop them up. All right. Or just throw them right into the pan to start sauteing or cooking with them.
Dr. Lee recommends garlic because it's a selenium-rich warrior that starves cancer and boots toxins out the door with gusto. Each clove packs about 1 to 2 micrograms of selenium. Small but mighty when you pile them up. Teeming with sulfur compounds like allicin and diallyl disulfide to starve cancer cells' blood supply. According to a review in Frontiers in Pharmacology, garlic is a really special vegetable that can help fight cancer and keep us healthy. The review talks about different parts of garlic, like a chemical called allicin, and others that can help prevent cancer, especially breast cancer, which is a serious problem for many people around the world. The study found that these garlic compounds can make cancer cells die and stop new cancer from growing. They do this by working on important processes in our body that affect how cells grow and behave. For detox, garlic's a champ. Those sulfur compounds bind to poisons like pesticides and heavy metals, think lead or arsenic from soil, flushing them out through your sweat or urine, while selenium gives your liver an extra gear kickstart. Imagine it as nature's bouncer, tossing toxins out of the club. Raw or cooked, this pungent bulb delivers a flavor punch that wakes up any dish. Roast it whole for a mellow sweetness. Mince it fine for a fiery bite. Rub it on toast for a crave-worthy kick, or simmer it into a soup that warms your soul. Ancient healers from Egypt to China swore by it. Pharaohs were buried with it, and it's been a folk cure for centuries. And today's science says they were onto something huge. Garlic's a natural antibiotic, antifungal and antiviral, zapping bugs before they settle in. Not wild about the smell? Chew parsley or sip milk after. It's a cheap fix that'll keep your friends close. But garlic's got more tricks up its sleeve. It's a health goldmine. Those sulfur compounds boost heart health by thinning blood and dropping bad cholesterol by up to 10%, while selenium and vitamin C, about 15 milligrams per 100 grams, turbocharge your immune system. Say hello to fewer colds and a fiercer fight against invaders. Got high blood pressure? Studies show garlic can nudge it down by 5 to 10 millimeters of mercury. Your ticker will thank you. Worried about prep or cost? A bulb's $1 or less at any store, lasts for months in a cool, dry spot, and peels in seconds with a quick smash. Pro-level cooking without the fuss. Here's a budget-friendly garlic recipe to get rolling. Roast 2 whole garlic bulbs, $1 at most grocers. Check the discount bin. At 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 to 40 minutes until soft and golden. Your kitchen will smell like heaven. Then mash with a tablespoon of olive oil, generic's fine. A pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of honey for a sweet twist that balances the bite. Spread it thick on crusty bread, swirl into mashed potatoes, dollop on roasted veggies, or stir into a cheap can of soup for a detoxing delight that's pennies per serving. Think 25 cents a pop. Bonus, blend it with a can of chickpeas, under $1, a splash of lemon juice, and a pinch of cumin for a hummus that's a cancer-starving superstar. Creamy, zesty, and ready in 5 minutes. Need another garlic fix? Here's a second budget-friendly recipe. Mince 4 cloves of garlic. Fresh is best, but jarred's a steal at $2. Sauté in a teaspoon of oil or dry fry to save fat with a diced onion. Grab a 50-cent bag. Then toss in a can of diced tomatoes, store brands under $1. A teaspoon of dried basil or whatever herbs are hiding in your pantry, and a pinch of red pepper flakes for heat. Simmer for 15 minutes until it thickens. Then spoon over cooked pasta, a pound's $1. Or dip with toast scraps for a marinara sauce that's bold, selenium stacked, and fights cancer for less than $2 total. Pro tip: double the batch and freeze half. It's a lifesaver on busy nights and gets tastier with time. Whether you're a flavor junkie or a health nut, garlic's your secret weapon. Cheap, fierce, and downright delicious. One clove at a time. If you found value in this video so far and appreciate the many hours of effort that went into creating it, please consider liking the video and leaving a comment to support the channel.